Good morning, friends. Today in our ethics lecture, we are going to start a new chapter as we have finished earlier the chapters of human ethics, ethics, interface with the human actions, chapter number 1. Secondly, the values. Now we'll start with the attitude. Which is your chapter number 3. We are going according to the syllabus, which is the demand of the competitive examination like UPSC. We have seen how ethics has an interface with the human actions. What are its definitions, significance and application? So many examples we saw. For the values we saw that how values are ingrained, what are the methods of formation of values, who are the agents of value formation, how does it take place, home, school and society primarily. The relationship between ethics and values, that also we have explored. We have seen till now that it is not the knowledge of ethics that is important, but how ethical your conduct is, especially when you have internalized, ingrained it, then only it will be helpful, especially in an examination like UPSC where there is a cutthroat competition and there is a fight among equals. As we read in polity, the Prime Minister is first among the equals, primus inter pares, or first among the equals. Likewise here also the aspirants who are preparing, they are all competitive. To give you a rough sketch of how many people are appearing, every year 10 to 12 lakh forms are filled. Out of that, around 6 lakh aspirants appear for the exam. Then around 14,000, depending upon the vacancy, 14 to 15,000 are selected in the prelims. Now out of these 6 lakh aspirants, going by my experience and as we keep on doing the research, the data analysis, what we have found is that 50,000 aspirants are really very well prepared. From them 14 to 15,000 are selected. Now when I say these are prepared, these are very well prepared as far as prelims part is concerned, which is rather easier because you have to just opt out the correct answer. But when it reaches to the main examination, out of these 15,000, after the main examination only 3,000 or lesser will be selected. 1:5. Here comes the fight. To differentiate yourself from others in this fight, it is important that your strategy is good. And this is what I keep on telling, that if you command your optionals, command your ethics paper, ethics, integrity and aptitude, and command your essay paper, apart from the fact that you don't do bad, you do better than average in your other papers, GS paper 1, 2 and 3 as well. Leave aside, there are aspirants who are very well prepared but they don't qualify the English language paper or compulsory language paper. So that is also important. The examination is long drawn. You have to show patience, you have to show a good level of preparation, and you have to remember one thing, that if you score 50%, you are among the toppers. So it also means that it is not what it is made out. If you look at, as we will see in the chapter today, the attitude chapter, if you remember, the attitude is one of the chapters in your, as many of you have this optional psychology, attitude is a chapter there in psychology. But when we are studying it from the ethics, integrity and aptitude paper point of view, our study framework will be different. If you read the same content as it is given in psychology, as it is taught by many teachers, the thing is that the teachers, they have memorized all the concepts of psychology. So if they are asked to teach in ethics paper, they will be teaching the same content without taking care of the students' benefit. But if we look at the reality, it is different. The questions which are asked are rather pragmatic, practical as compared to the theoretical parts which are given by most of the institutes and teachers. So what will we focus upon? We will definitely focus upon the generic approach as compared to your optional approach. We will not follow the optional approach at all, because in ethics paper things are different. For example, in ethics paper, if they are asking you a question, if the question is regarding sustainable development, then you have to explore the dimensions of sustainable development from ethical angle. What are the ethics involved here? In the sustainable development, we have seen, what does it mean? Saving the resources for the future generation, consuming it in such a manner that we are saving the resources for the future generation as well. That is sustainable development. Now, here comes the role of ethics in sustainable development. The ethical angle here is personal benefit versus societal benefit. If you look at the nature of the human beings, we all think about ourselves. We don't have the tendency to think about the future generation, going by our nature with which we are born. It takes a huge amount of wisdom to understand that we should forego our pleasures, we should forego our comfort for others. Parents can do this, elders can do this, you can do it for your very close friends, but to do it for the whole society, it is very difficult. How will it be done? If you look at this, the attitude of people is towards self-aggrandizement. The attitude with which we are born is towards self-preservation and self-improvement. This is what we are born with. Now, to change this attitude, we need what? We need to tell people, persuade them. Persuasion. Nothing but an English word. Persuasion is nothing technical here. Persuasion. Persuading somebody is communicating with someone in such a manner that the person gets influenced. This influence can take place in individual manner. A leader can come to you, to your house, and explain that this is not the right way, you should not consume so much of electricity, you should leave it to others as well. Like, suppose you consume 1000 units of electricity. The electricity department sends someone to your house that this consumption is quite high. You say that, what are you worrying about? I am paying for this. I am capable of paying. So why are you worrying about it? Likewise, Some people spend a huge amount of money in the weddings. Someone asks them, why are you spending so much of money? This is sheer wastage of money. They will say, no, this is our daughter's marriage, our son's marriage. This is one of the kind of event in the whole life we'll have. Whatever we have saved, it is for our children. Why should we not spend? If they are told that the amount of wastage in terms of food, lots of food will be wasted, lots of resources will be wasted. In place of that, if you just keep it limited, and rather than wasting your resources here, you distribute it among the needy, most of them will say, no, we are not going to do that. So what is the essence here? What is the context here? We need to change the attitude of people. For that, persuasion needs to be done. The persuasion can be individual, or it can be social influence. If everybody in your neighborhood starts following the practice of spending limited resources in weddings, especially the people whom you know that they are very well to do, very rich, really rich, filthy rich, but still they have limited, they have bounded their expenditure in wedding, because they have understood that there is no point spending it like this. They should save it and distribute it among the needy people. Will you not be persuaded? Yes, you will be in a situation to change your attitude. Social influence, the influence of the society. It may be from the neighborhood, it may be from the nation, it may be from the leaders like the Prime Minister, who is very popular figure, or somebody whom you like, suppose an actors like Akshay Kumar, or whosoever you like and praise. They tell you that there is no point spending money like this, you should save it and distribute it among those who need it. Now, the whole point of this discussion is, there is an attitude with which we are born, and to ensure an ethical conduct which is good for the society, there is a need to change the attitude. The attitude change can take place in various ways, which we will see later. But this chapter has the significance because attitude, how it is built, how it is changed, what are its functions, content, structure, significance. This all is important for us to understand. This is the context in which this class will be built. Because see, for ethics and human interface, we understood, for when we started the ethics integrity aptitude paper, we understood the context in which the ethics paper was brought as a discipline to you. And I have not given the printed notes, but based on the classes, I told you to write the test because I want to check your understanding. Because when we are all in a habit of reading the printed material, memorizing this and going into the examination. I want you to change this practice. Believe in your understanding. Whatever notes you have jotted down during your classes, they will come handy. Next classes onwards will provide you the printed material. Then you have the printed material, you have the understanding of the classes, then you can write the answers. But mostly, especially for papers like ethics, you need to rely upon your understanding of the concepts more. So, what does the chapter attitude constitute of? The things which are included here are the content of attitude, structure of attitude, and functions. First sub part of it. Content, structure and functions. What does it constitute of? What does attitude constitute of? When we break down attitude as a concept, what all things come out? Then what are the important aspects based on which we will evaluate the attitude? Structure. Then the functions. What functions attitude serve? Then we will understand the relation of attitude with the thought and behavior. What relationship attitude has with the thought and behavior? We will also understand the influence thought and behavior has on attitude. And why are we studying it? As you have understood, attitude constitutes an important aspect which is necessary for our ethical conduct. When we see the functions of attitude, we will understand. That is why this chapter has been kept. And how other people look at it? It is a chapter in psychology. Let's put all the content, let's give all the content to the students, they will take care of it. Ratify, memorize the content and write in the exam. That is why the marks are very less. If you do follow this approach, the marks will be very less. Our syllabus constitutes of psychology, public administration and philosophy parts. What should happen then? Every philosophy and public administration teacher should teach all the parts, give the theory to you and leave it to you. That is why students are unable to score well, because they don't understand the significance. Why this chapter has been kept here? So first of all, there are few other things like social influence, persuasion. These all we'll see later on. But today we'll see the attitude. What does attitude mean? See, there are definitions which are technical, which are given from a discipline, psychology or sociology or philosophy. But when we are reading it for our general studies paper, the definition will be simple. What attitude is a prolonged tendency to attitude is a first mark this word, prolonged tendency towards an object which may be positive, negative or mixed. First of all, it is a prolonged tendency. When you have suppose you behave very badly with one of your friends from northeast. You behave badly, that is your negative behavior, negative attitude towards your northeast friend from northeast. During corona, what happened when people realized that this coronavirus has come from Chinese locations, as there is not much of literacy and understanding the knowledge base in our country, in various of the states, people started removing northeast people from the locality. Those who had kept northeast people as their tenants, they started telling them, go back to your home, because they believe that these are also from your Chinese origins, they may also spread coronavirus. Likewise, a negative attitude was displayed. But suppose in a particular incident your mood is bad, you have a very terrible mood, and you scolded your northeast friend, that will not constitute your attitude. That will be an attitude when you, with respect to all northeast friends, or most of them, if not all, at all locations and in various time zones, that is various time zones. Today, 6 months later, 1 year later, you are displaying the same behavior at various locations in Gujarat, in Andhra Pradesh, in the Northeast society also. Then it will be called that it will say that your attitude towards Northeast people is negative, discriminatory in its nature. Then only it is prolonged. Now, it is quite possible that because others are hating Northeast people, you have also started hating them, but you like their culture. Most of the people from Northeast are very well dressed, they have a very good rich culture, they speak very well, they have love for music and musical instruments, most of them have a very good appearance. Because of these things, you like them, but you show hate towards them because others are hating. So you have a mixed feeling. Likewise, there may be people from a particular community whom you like, Sikh community for that example, those who are very humanitarian, people who help others whenever the need arises. Positive attitude, mixed attitude also. There can be positive, negative or mixed attitude towards an object. We were saying, what does the object mean here? Object may be a single person or a group of person. A single person or a group of persons. When we are talking about the discrimination against Northeast people, they are a group of people. When we are talking about a particular friend of yours, Jholu from Northeast, we are talking about a particular person. You like Jholu, but you hate the Northeast people, that is also possible. Your Jholu helps you a lot. That's also a possibility that you may like You may display positive attitude towards Jolu at various places in various locations, but you in general hate Northeast people, quite possible. This is attitude. And why we are learning this? We have understood. Because attitude is one of the important markers which says a lot about your ethical moral principles. Our attitude towards, suppose few of the states have a very bad sex ratio, despite the fact that they are very prosperous. Haryana is one of them. Haryana, Punjab, economically very well to do, very well off, but sex ratio is very less. It means that very less female for every 1000 male, there are 940 female, a gap of 60, whereas what should have happened? Either they should be equal or more female, because the female fetus is much more stronger. So the chances of their survival is very high. So in this case, our attitude towards girl child is even in 21st century, when a girl child is born in many of the locations, if not all over India, people of older generations especially they don't like it. What does it say about our principles, ethical principles? That we as a society have discriminatory attitude towards women. We are prejudiced. Against women. We show discriminatory tendencies towards women. Right or not? So, to understand overall ethical moral principles and of individuals, of the whole society, it is important that we study attitude. And to change the attitude, to ensure that our attitude towards girl child changes, we need to understand the attitude, then only we can change it. That is why we are studying it. It has an importance. Now, we have understood the definition of attitude. It is not what we believe in common sense. Commonly, what is believed? When somebody does not talk much, see how it is not commonsensical. You, being a sincere aspirant, you are deeply engrossed in reading a book at the airport. There are some youngsters sitting around you who want to talk to you, but you are not talking to them. You are just deeply engrossed in your work. What they say? That you have lots of attitude. This is how it is seen in common parlance. Or the person is throwing a lots of attitude, throwing a lots of tantrums. But what actually it is? Your prolonged tendency at various places, in various time zones, with various people of the same group, that constitutes attitude. This is the first thing which you have to understand. Then it can be positive, it can be negative, it can be mixed. In most of the cases, our attitudes are not very clear because they are built by our upbringing, the kind of parenting we had, societal influence, if somebody persuaded us, or in general, which is true for everything, life experience. So because the attitude is formed through this complexity, the way you have been brought up, the kind of culture, law and religious practices you see, the people around you who have been able to persuade you in a particular manner. As you see, what happens in case of terrorists? If you look at the case of Ajmal Amir Kasab, who was the prime suspect, the person who attacked with a group of his friends, attacked Mumbai in 26/11, Mumbai attack. Look at this person. He was barely 16 years old, belonged to a very poor family, had the feeling of revenge inside him, had a personality of narcissism, that is, he wanted to be in limelight. What happens with narcissistic people? They want to be in limelight. Then he was influenced by somebody who was able to persuade, brainwash him that it is always good to unleash violence upon people of a particular religion, faith. When you do this and suppose you get martyred, when you get killed, even then God will love you. You will get huge rewards afterwards in various formats. So, persuasion, or suppose you have gone through a very bad experience in your life when you were staying in Northeast. People around were having certain kind of food habits which you did not like. You did not like their culture. Despite the fact that you are not harmful, one fine day they beat you. So you have that bad experience in your mind. Because of that, your attitude towards Northeast people has become negative. Because of all this complexity involved in the formation of attitude, most of the time it is mixed. And mind it that if you look at the accessibility part, how will you access the attitude of a person? It is something which is in the brain, in the mind, as we will see the constituents of attitudes. The attitude consists of three things: thought, feeling and behavior. Behavior means your outward behavior which you display. Your thought, attitude is not only how you behave with the person, but what you think about the person also defines your attitude. Look at the example in our offices where we have women colleagues. One of the finest teachers one of the finest entrepreneurs in our vicinity of UPSC coaching, has put up a coaching institute which is doing really well, growing leaps and bounds. But all the male faculties, all the people who are in the teaching arena, they hate her. When they meet her, they are always displaying a very good behavior. But their thinking, if you look at their thinking, is that she has got success because she is lucky. So that displays the attitude? Yes. Then what do they feel about the person? This is their thinking. What is the feeling? They have negative emotions in their mind. If something goes wrong with her institute, they will be very happy. But the behavior is not like that. They behave very politely with her. So to access the attitude becomes very difficult because of one, it is mixed. Attitude is mixed most of the time. It's formed through a complex process. Its contents, the content of the attitude, what does it constitute of, are also complex. You see this, because of these factors, it is not easy to judge, to assess anyone's attitude. You understood the dimensions, and you see the strength. First is the direction, whether it is positive or negative, whether the attitude is positive or negative or mixed. In most of the cases it is mixed. The strength of the attitude, howsoever strongly you may feel about a person or a group of persons, how do you display it or how strongly do you feel? That is a questionable construct. That is, most people don't display their strength, their attitude in a strong manner. And mind it that in life there are gray zones, gray areas. So, before displaying your strong attitude towards, especially your negative attitudes towards a person or a group of persons, you should be able to empathize with the situation of the person also. See, there are certain things for which you can display a strong attitude and it will be good, like patriotism. If it is displayed in a strong manner, whenever national anthem is played, wherever you are, you stand up on, you're sitting on a chair, the national anthem is played in the cinema hall, although you are not legally forced to do so, but you do it. Strong display of patriotism. You display a zero tolerance towards corruption. You display zero tolerance when it comes to disrespecting women. One of the foremost incidents seen in neighborhood, in your colleges, in your schools, eve teasing. Now the new guidelines by Supreme Court has told people not to use this word, eve teasing. That gives a wrong impression. It is no more eve teasing. It is called harassment now. Otherwise, it was seen as a form of humor. Earlier it was seen as a form of humor and something which does happen and nobody cares about it. But now it is harassment. Unless we have zero tolerance towards corruption, unless we have zero tolerance towards these things, think the situation is not going to change. I am telling you the ethical angle here. Now you see, patriotism, corruption, positive attitude, strong positive attitude towards your patriotism, strong positive attitude, corruption, strong negative attitude. These things will make your life easy, but largely speaking, about most of the issues, the best idea is, as I have told you, as a principle of value. You should follow the golden mean approach. That is, neither being too harsh against somebody, nor being too affectionate of someone or a group of people. You should follow the middle path. Middle path or golden mean. What will happen? See, I am not teaching you the knowledge of ethics. I am teaching you ethics, which should be the duty of a teacher as far as UPSC is concerned and otherwise as well. So, in your conduct in human life, in public as well as private relationships, you should not display strong emotions towards most of the things. Then what will happen? It will result into your mental peace. You will display mental peace. You will be able to empathize with the people. Empathize with the situation of others, putting yourself into the shoes of others. That is how our conduct should be for any situation. Before jumping your gun, give the other party a chance, as I have been telling you through various examples. There is lots of hatred in the society, there is lots of hatred in the world. If you are somebody who displays peace, if you are somebody who believes in giving the other person also a chance, giving peace a chance, you will be doing lots of service to the humanity and to yourself as well. You will not be surrounded by controversies and do your job smoothly. Now we will come to our content of attitude. Attitude, we have understood the dimensions. Content, what does it consist of? We have already seen that it is consisting of thought, feeling and action. Thought, feeling and action. I am not writing cognitive, affective, behavioral. That is not our job. That was part of your optional. Psychology optional. We are not supposed to teach psychology optional in ethics paper. And this should be the approach of the aspirant so that they score well. Thought. What do you think about a person or a group of persons? Negatively or positively? whether these thoughts are prolonged thoughts. You are thinking about those people in different time zones. That is, 5 years ago, your thinking was like this. You are hating. You had that hate in your mind for Northeast people. Now also you have a hate in your mind for Northeast people. Your feeling towards them is really bad. Whenever you see them, if they live in your surroundings, if they cook bamboo, which smells a lot, you are feeling bad for them. And your actions also display it. Your language, first and foremost. You start calling them through various names. Northeast people, most of them are called through this name, Chinky. Now this is a slang which compares them to Chinese people and discriminates them. See, our attitude, this is negative attitude and it leads to prejudice. Look at people who belong to these states, Bihar and UP. Wherever they stay, they are called Bhaiya people. Bhaiya. This language is used, I have seen, at in various states like Maharashtra, down south as well. Or people who belong to Bihar, although those who belong to Bihar will be Bihari only. Those who belong to Gujarat will be Gujarati, not a big deal. But the connotation behind this Bihari thing is discriminatory in its nature. The action part, the behavior part, thinking negative, feeling negative, displaying negative behavior in form of language. Then various states, they throw out people from Bihar and UP. They are saying that you are snatching our jobs. Mind it, then when we talk about your thought and feeling, you may be having a negative or a strongly positive thought, strongly positive feeling towards either a person or a group of persons, but you may not display it. Just an example. You are in your school. A young adolescent. You have reached to your class 12th. There is a teacher. As in young adolescents, the way their physical, hormonal and psychological growth takes place, it is quite rapid. So they are unable to judge what is good or bad for them. Their morality, universal morality, is also taking its shape. Their feeling towards a particular teacher is very positive. They have a strong emotion for the teacher, but they don't display it. This is all in their mind. Or you are working in your office, one of the seniors may belong to any gender, but especially of opposite gender. You like the conduct of the senior, have a very good thought pattern about the senior, the feeling is also very strong, but you don't display it, you are behaving very professionally. The action will take place only if the environment is appropriate, that is facilitatory What does it mean? You have very strongly negative picture in your mind as far as people from Tamil Nadu is concerned. Say, take the example of this. You reach to Tamil Nadu on a tour. You want to visit the tourist places of Tamil Nadu. You see that cab driver, your hotel manager, butlers, everyone is a Tamilian. You hate them like anything, but you don't display your behavior of hate there because you are on a tour. Contrast it with the different situation. You are at your home, you see you want to rent out your place. Tamil people visit, you not only don't give them room or a house, you don't allow them to enter your house, you don't even ask for water, you shoo them away, scold them and shoo them away. So displaying of behavior also takes place whenever the environment is facilitatory. Thought, feeling and behavior, and here comes the real thing. What will be our ethical moral conduct when our thought, feeling and behavior are aligned, especially in the case of positive attitude. If we are displaying positive attitudes, if we suppose, what happens? There are students rather, who have very good feeling for the teacher because this teacher has helped them a lot. They pass the examination. Their feeling towards teacher is also very positive, respectful, but they keep it in their mind. There are students who display it, they appreciate the teacher through their words, through their actions. And the biggest appreciation for a teacher can be your good performance. They write down some emails, some messages appreciating the teacher. What are they doing? The thought, feeling, behavior all are aligned. You respect a senior colleague in your job. You not only display positive behavior, but you write a responsible mail in a professional manner, appreciating the behavior of the senior. The thought, feeling, behavior all are aligned. Where comes the dilemma? Most of our moral, ethical dilemma, which is the prime source, the prime thing which we will be learning throughout this paper of ethics, integrity and aptitude, is the misalignment between thought, feeling and action. When any of them are not aligned, you are thinking something, behaving something else. You have a very strong, like you hate Tamil Nadu people and you have to behave, it will create a dissonance in your mind. If you see, you are hating Tamilians, one day you are traveling by your car, you find a Tamilian person completely drenched in the blood because of the accident. What will you be doing? As a human being, your tendency will be to help them. But as a person who hates Tamilian, will not help them, right or not? As a human being, your ideas will be positive, I should help, but here the things are negative. That creates a moral dilemma, ethical moral dilemma. So, the best idea is to have this alignment of thought, feeling and action, attitude and its content. What is the structure of the attitude? structure of attitude. When we say structure of attitude, we mean the important aspects of it. We have already seen it, and see why I keep repeating the things which are important, because this is the idea. Few things told to you which will direct you towards success. Keep repeating that, it will be on top of your mind. When the examination comes, you will write these things and pass the examination. In place of that, if I give you a plethora of material and you yourself don't know what is important, what is to be left, what will happen? You will spend lots of time reading the material, your hard work will be wasted. When the exam comes, you won't be able to write the right things. What have we discussed regarding the structure? The strength, the direction, and accessibility. What is the strength of your, first of all, the direction? Whether it is positive or negative, that's what the meaning of direction is. Then the strength, how strongly do you feel about the person? How strongly your thoughts are aligned? Then whether it is accessible or not, whether or not you are displaying it or not. Or can I judge your attitude through some method? There are various scales which is there in psychology, especially Likert and Thurston scale, not needed here. Scales like Likert and Thurston, through which the psychologist, the researcher will ask some questions. They want to know your attitude. Although it's a subjective method and it does not have any objectivity, it is not universal. We cannot have a definite conclusion through these methods, but there is no other way. Through these scales, you are asked a question: how strongly do you feel about northeastern people? Or the question will be, northeast people are fun loving, they are good people. Then it would be strongly agree. Then it will be agree. Then it will be neutral. Disagree. And strongly disagree. In this case, your answer, whatever your answer is, will be able to give us the strength and direction both. Strength, direction will be displayed. But what about the accessibility? Are you giving the right answers? That is your answer aligned with what you really believe? We don't know. The mechanism is not there because the mental process is hidden. Most of the cases we have seen, we have an ambivalent attitude. So most people will say neutral. Neutral attitude. When it comes to displaying your attitude, there also depends upon the environment. Many people don't deliberately display their attitude. So it becomes very difficult to know the attitude of the person. And that is why it is not only for the individual, for the society also. To change the attitude, it is a very difficult idea. That is why, again, we will also be learning the formation of attitude itself should be correct. Formative years, while you are growing up as a child, from adulthood. And as we talked about in the value chapter, in the integrated method, in your home, in your school, and in the society, if everywhere the environment itself is made ethical, principled, then the formation of attitude will be naturally taking place. You know how we are connecting different chapters? These are your values. These give you the ethical conduct. And the most important part of your ethical conduct is your attitude. Your attitude defines whether your conduct is ethical or not. These chapters connected? Because of your attitude, you have your shaping of the values, or because of the shaping of the values, your ethical conduct. So what is the most important aspect here? The formation of the right attitude. Neither positive nor negative, I am saying. You must have a strongly negative attitude when it comes to corruption. Zero tolerance. Zero tolerance. There are people who say, itna to chalta hai. Why India is lacking? Why do we have lots of problems? If you compare it with the countries like Singapore, where there is zero corruption, Dubai, zero corruption. We have our, okay, chalta hai attitude. We are not punctual. If you go to the Germany, in Germany, if somebody has a meeting with you at 9 a.m., you reach at 9:05 a.m., the person is gone. No more meetings, whosoever you are. Here, we keep on waiting for the next 3 hours. The person may appear from somewhere. People will also say, oh, I got late because of the traffic. The formation of the attitude takes place during your budding year, formative years, when you interact with your parents, when you interact with your peer group, when you interact with your teachers. So this formula of parents, teacher, peer group helps here also. Your parents, then you interact with your teachers and peer group. Large influence of the society will definitely be there. Then the kind of life experience you have, it will always be there. But if you look at the primary factors, they are parents, teacher and peer group. These flowcharts and diagrams you can use as it is, or you may make some changes in them to make it further simple or give it your touch. As what happens? We say different people make different kind of pulses, dal, but they have their own methods of including tadka. What we use after the dal is cooked, you have to give your own tadka. This is the essence of UPSC examination. Unless you use your own tadka, the examiner will not give you marks. With the same kind of answers you write in the answer sheet, everybody writing the same content, especially in the case of optionals like psychology, everyone giving the same example, same content, that too in a very complex language. In that case, there is no tadka, the examiner bhadka and does not give you marks. Remember, it's very important to understand that examiner is very annoyed by reading all 10 scripts, the same answers, same language, as if somebody has memorized the notes and given it to the examiner. Examiner does not want any notes from a particular institute. Examiner is looking for aspirants who will be future of the country. So, have your tadaka. We'll come to the next topic. This is called functions of attitude. What are the functions of attitude? What functions does it serve? Now again, if you go to the syllabus of attitude and if you read it from a psychological perspective, there are so many things: knowledge functions, ego defensive, ego expressive, value expressive. Total nonsense. When we are reading it from an ethical perspective, from the chapter of ethics, integrity and aptitude, it has to be different. How it is different? The function, the foremost function of the attitude is, attitude gives you the competence to display your core values. Suppose your core value is honesty. You display the attitude of honesty in your home, in your private relationships, and your public conduct. Always analyze every constituent, every construct, every concept in form of these two: private conduct and public conduct. This will simplify your study and give you more marks. So core values you have of honesty in your private relationships, and honesty in public. Your attitude gives you the competence to display these values. That is your honest conduct. Your thinking is based on honesty principles. Your feeling of honesty towards your private relationship, intimate relationships, at your home. You have honest feelings towards your subordinates, towards the job you have been given, and you display it through your attitude of honesty. Take the example of this man, Ashok Khemka, a serving IAS officer who in his tenure of 25 years of service was transferred 56 times because of his display of honesty. His honesty, his attitude of honesty, integrity towards his private life and the public conduct has given him a strength, a competence to display his core values. So values, as we have seen in the diagram earlier, the value of honesty, the ethical conduct of honesty displayed in an honest attitude. This is the value of honesty here. Honest, ethical conduct. You see, it is important that we connect each and every chapter so that the study becomes smart. Otherwise, what we are doing, if you are not utilizing our intelligence, then what we are doing? An aspirant who came to me and asked, sir, I am unable to solve the problems of geography. I asked him, how many times have you read the book, the NCERT? Most of the questions of your geography both prelims and mains, will be covered by your geography NCERT. He said, sir, 25 times. I was quite surprised that after reading the NCERT book 25 times, he is unable to solve the problem. Then I asked him, tell me, what is this October heat? October heat. He says, sir, I don't know. Now, whosoever has read the NCERT 26 times, 25 times is unable to answer this simple question. What is October heat? In the months of October, what happens? There are clouds in the sky, but there is no rain. So whatever heat is there on the earth, it gets trapped in the environment. And because of that, as the rains are not happening, the environment remains very hot, humid. This is called October heat. Despite the fact that there is heat trapped in the environment, there is no rains. Because of the rains will happen when the relative humidity goes beyond the humidity which is prevalent, which is required to conduct rains. Generally it happens at 76% around. So the rains are not taking place. There is no cooling off of the environment. That is why heat is trapped, October heat. The point here is, if we don't apply our mind, and we all are equally capable, let me tell you, we all are equally capable of doing this connection. What we are not doing is not applying our mind, and we are fearful. So apply your mind. To give you a competence to display your values, core values, attitude comes, the function of the attitude. Competence to display your core values. Display. Attitude also gives you tools to defend your core values. One is that you are displaying your core values. You have the value of integrity. You are driven by the purpose of public interest, as Divya Mittal, one of the IAS officers who was transferred despite the fact that she brought tap water into the district after 75 years of independence. She had public interest in her mind. Her attitude of integrity, her core values, rather, the core values of integrity were defended. She was able to defend her value of integrity, that is, this is my duty of public interest, so I will be doing the duty of public interest, through her attitude of duty boundness or dutifulness. She understands that her duty is public interest. She is supposed to save that duty, supposed to save that value of integrity, and for that she is working for public interest. displaying your core values, defending your core values. When you are defending your core values, who are you defending this against? Defending core values against the antagonistic or something which is opposite to your values. Antagonistic values prevalent in society and your workplace. Suppose you are an honest officer with high integrity. You are transferred to a department coal. You are transferred as a secretary into the coal department. You are an honest person. Everybody here in the department is corrupt. Through the display of your attitude, in the first day itself, you call the meeting, you are addressing the meeting. All your subordinates were called. You said, see, I am here to see that there will be zero tolerance towards corruption. You are displaying your attitude, defending your values. You are displaying your core values, defending your core values against the values which are prevalent here, that thoda bahut khane mein koi issue nahi hai. They say that we are also working for the government, for the people. Should we not have some commission? Some people have very forcefully put up this point even to the government that rules should be changed, there should be commission. But you displayed it, you defended your core values. What came to help? Your attitude. Wherever you have stayed in various departments, you have displayed this honesty and integrity. And now people understand that you are displaying the same honesty and integrity here also. Thereby you are expressing your values, core values, and defending your core values against the values prevalent in the surroundings. There are two more important functions which our attitude serve, which we will see in the next class. Leaving it here only, you should all write your test and submit to me either on the mail or the WhatsApp very soon. Thank you very much for joining. We will see you in the next class tomorrow, same time, 9:45. Thank you very much.